Yeah, I mean, I guess they could do it that way. There's no reason they couldn't. I was thinking maybe potentially since they had the weapon with the materia in it, that it could be pre-rendered in engine and played back, but not, that has to be CG. Every other place that's CG, the character models look like that. They don't look like the in-game character models. I think that's the best way to tell that it's CG. Aside from the fact that the weapons aren't what you currently have equipped. I don't know which models like better, the in-game ones or the CG ones. I think the CG ones look a little too anime-ish.
Hey! Anybody out there?
Barret!
But there's other aspects of the CG that are better than the in-game.
Hey! Can anybody hear me?
Here goes.
And push!
Once you get to Sector 5, I want to make sure to check something out. It's the end of the game, the last couple scenes, there's something that does not make any sense. And I want to see where the Sector 7 fight is in relation to that building.
Biggs! Wedge!
Matter of fact, I think I'm going to pull up the video so I can watch it real quick.
God
Actually, I
damn
might
it.
just watch it on stream so you can see what I'm talking about.
God damn you! God damn you all!
I actually like this scene better than the original. It's a lot more emotional. There's a lot more impact to it.
It was us.
I just noticed the discoloration of Barret's skin underneath the where the graft is. It's a nice detail.
No, you can't think like that. Whatever came before it was Shinra that pulled the trigger today. Am I right?
Yeah.
Really, all the voice actors in this game did a really good job.
Hold on to this anger, okay?
Kind of glad they changed the voice actors. I'm not sure if the original cast from like Advent Children would have been able to do as good a job. I mean, they probably could have, but
Barret.
in every
Marlene's fine.
voiced role for Cloud and some of the
Areith
country
found
we've heard, he's always portrayed in a certain way, just the mopey
Areith. Is that the girl they took?
shithead
Yeah.
Cloud, instead
That's
of
her.
the cocky, arrogant sort of Cloud like this
What the
one
hell's
is.
going on?
I asked Areith to find Marlene and take her somewhere safe.
And she did? You sure?
I know some people wanted the original voice actors in.
Hey, where you going?
Maybe they'll release like a DLC eventually or something that will put them in. I don't know. But then again, I don't know if they would do that. It would take a lot of money. And they were originally using the original cast, and something wasn't clicking right, and that's when they revoiced everything with the new cast. At least that's what the word is. I think it was like somebody from SE mentioned that in like 2017 at some point, I think. Late 2016, early 2017, I think.
How could this happen?
I didn't really think that.
I like this little bit here where these guys are totally turning against Shinra is awesome.
What the hell is going on?
What do we do now?
What you were hired to do. Get these people out of here. What the hell is going on?
So you know, things could have been a lot worse if you hadn't done what you did. Sometimes you can't let yourself be bound by orders.
I've made up my mind. I'm not gonna do this job for Shinra anymore. I'm an officer of the people now.
It's insane how some of the background characters that don't have any real impact on the story get character development in this game. Even like the just rando NPCs get character development in this game. It's insane. It's an insane level of detail. Most JRPGs wouldn't give two shits about the background characters. They just meet in random places, and they don't. Not only wouldn't they, but they don't. A lot of them don't. If they're not integral to the story in some way.
I said, where you going?
Aerith's house. It's in the Sector 5 slums.
And that's where Marlene is?
Where we hope she is.
Attention to detail in this
Tell
game
me
is
she
insane.
is. Give me something to hang on to.
And the fact that they made this all in
Even if she's
roughly
not, I won't blame you for it, I swear.
for cinematic camera
Who am I
zoom-ins
kidding?
and things.
I'd probably try to tear your head off.
Hey,
It's
Tifa,
amazing.
know anything about ancients?
But the fact they've made this
I
game
know
in,
I've heard
in
of them at least.
pretty much 3 years.
They come up
They
in planetology books.
Scrapped a lot of the stuff from
Meant to be
CC2.
the original stewards of the planet.
Or
Could even
C2,
commune with
CC2.
it, talk to it and
C2.
stuff.
Whatever, the original developers, the same guys
That
that
must be
made
why the Turks
.hack
wanted
and
her so
have done
badly.
some other stuff for them in the past. I completely forgotten about this scene at all.
This planet is my birthright.
This is the first time I think you really see the voice actor for Sephiroth kind of actually putting emotion into the character, tension. It's the first time you really get a feel for his Sephiroth, and it's pretty good.
You have failed again, I see.
Yeah, they didn't scrap everything. They kept some of it, but a lot of it they did scrap and started over on it.
Through suffering,
So really, this game only went through about 3.5 years of development, and for what it is, that's kind of insane.
isn't that what you want?
And a lot of AAA games go through as much and are not half as
Cloud?
good as this game is. That's why I'm not worried about what they do with Part 2 too much,
It's
in
nothing.
terms of the game design.
Let's go.
The thing I'm most worried about in Part 2 is that if they arbitrarily end the story somewhere. There are certain points where you can
There's a
cut off
hole in
the
the
story
sky.
at. If that makes sense.
Hey, pretty crazy, huh? Can you believe this mess?
You doing all right?
You know, stopping
I
it
am,
at like
but I can't say the same
Junon
about my
or
birds. Poor things are
Gungaga
scared half
or-
to death.
Cosmo Canyon, that doesn't make any sense. Those are not natural breakpoints in the story. Stopping after Nibelheim would be a natural breakpoint. Because that's where part of the story climaxes at, like it does here when we start to leave Midgar.
Wait. Over there.
Another place would be
What the hell are they
City of the
doing
Ancients.
here?
Their job's probably.
Personally, I think that's where they're going
Just
to
focus on
end the
seeing
second
Marlene
game after
again.
Aerith dies.
Nothing else.
That's my personal opinion. That's what I would do. Just maximum emotional destruction at the end of the game, and then just end it there, and just leave everyone a frigging mess. If they wanted to be total dicks about it, they could do it. They could stop it as like Aerith's about to die.
we need to do is find a
But I think
place
people
to
would
take
be just
refuge.
enraged over that.
To dig them out safe.
I didn't talk to Andrea. Well, it doesn't really matter.
I have to believe that we can make a difference.
Is it true that Sector 7's pretty much destroyed?
You guys run into Jesse at the pillar?
Yeah, Biggs too. They were both in pretty bad shape. But Wedge wasn't up there with them. He got out.
All right.
I think Max misinterpreted that, or somebody in the chat led Max to misinterpret it. Tifa says they were both in pretty bad shape. Talking about Biggs and Jesse. Well, I don't know. I mean, Ultimania does say that Biggs survives. And we see that he survives. I just don't know how. It could have been Tifa, it could have been Kitesith. Maybe somehow through how everything collapses, he gets protected underneath bits of the pillar and they're able to find him and dig him out. It's suggested that they also found Jesse because at the end of the game, when you see the desk next to him, Jesse's glove and headband is on there, so suggesting that they found her body. Or at the least that they found her, whether she's alive or not. Personally, I think that means that they found her body and she's dead. So I don't think if Jesse was alive, I don't think she would leave Biggs there on his own. That's the biggest thing I can pull from that to say that she's equivocally dead, is that, other than the chapter title, that or chapter description that apparently says it, is that she wouldn't just leave Biggs there alone. She would be there. So if her gloves and stuff were there, she wouldn't have like left them there for whatever reason. She's dead. I think those are just, they pulled those off her bone.
Y'all. We gotta go find the others.
Huh?
If we don't look for them, who will?
Right.
Hey, Cloud, gonna need your help with it too.
Right.
Okay. I can tell you right now that what I thought is correct. So here's Sector 6, right? So let me just park myself here so we get a comparison shot. Let me switch over to my desktop really quick. Now I gotta go switch this to. Let's see, what video would it be? Streams, this one, and then this one. So, I think it's going to be this one. Now pay close attention. I think Zack probably dies at some other point now, instead of against all. Okay, now, you see what I'm seeing here? Here's Sector 6. Notice how there's a plate here. Notice how there's a plate here. This shouldn't be here. That's why I think this is the alternate timeline. Because, unless this is just like a problem with them forgetting to change the model, which is, I'm going to say it's possible that that's just the case. But, everything else in this game has been specifically tailored and shown for a reason. Aerith says the stuff she does not because it's bad writing, but because she knows things. And is getting like flashes of inspiration and stuff from the Lifestream occasionally. Another example, I can think off the top of my head of there's others too, I just can't think of them at the moment. But if we switch back over here now, I'm gonna see that plate is not freaking there. That plate is not there. So, I believe that everything you see after Zack gets back up, that's all in his timeline. So, my theory is, and I'll talk more about this in my videos, but I'm going to drop it here too, is that in Zack's timeline, it kind of fast forwards a bit in there, and Sector 7 is still destroyed. It's just destroyed in some other way. The slums are. Maybe Shinra does like an actual assault on it because with Zack as a part of them, they're able to do more damage. Maybe they hit more reactors. Maybe Shinra says that there's an ex-soldier that's helping them, and there's like deserters that are helping them, and that Sector 7 is basically this insurgency, or somehow Wutai's got a base there, or that all Sector 7 slums is part of this conspiracy against Midgar, people Midgar and Shinra, and gets them on board for bombing it, or like full-on assaulting it or something. If it's not a frack up with just putting the wrong model in at that point in time, then that's definitely got to be Zack's timeline. End of story, in my opinion. But I am leaving the possibility open that it is just a script on the model thing because of this, specifically. Because we have this friggin' sun lamp here that shouldn't be there, floating in the middle of nowhere, middle of the air. That was obviously carried over from one of these other plates. When they were, so they took one of these plates, they copied it over there, and then as a placeholder while they were building the destroyed part of it from what happened in Before Crisis, and forgot to remove that sun lamp. So it could absolutely be a case of just they didn't put the right model of Midgar into that part of the game. But if they didn't, if that's intentional, then it's definitely Zack's timeline.
It's really gone.
My ears are still ringing from it.
This wasn't...
This is Sector 5, right? So where's this place you said Marlene is?
Where I think she is.
It's kind of
It's a house
interesting,
on the other
just
side of
the
town.
Well,
levels
come on
of
then. Pick up the pace.
I'm
detail
going as
you'll
fast
notice
as you are.
playing through this game multiple times, so you don't necessarily pick up the first time.
I can't even imagine how it looks over there. And now, breaking news. Midgar is in mourning following the collapse of the Sector 7 bridge.
I think Chadley's over here. Oh, yes.
If there's anything you require, please do not hesitate to ask.
I don't think he has anything for me to do, though. Bought all the material we can from him. Done all the VR missions.
I will be here if you require anything else. At all times, I am remotely analyzing your combat data and monitoring your progress.
Not sure if Marle's over here or somewhere down the other side of the area, but yeah, definitely. I was not absolutely sure. Because maybe the camera was facing this way. Well, that wouldn't have made any sense either, because it's definitely facing towards this direction. So yeah. Interesting.
I'll keep you.
God, I'm not gonna enjoy fighting the Tonberry.
That's the house.
Marlene! Marlene! Where's Marlene? Is she here?
Barret!
Sorry, I'm Barret. Marlene's my little girl. Marlene, she's got short hair. She's cute as a
Well,
button.
the fact that Barret
with
just
the heart of
barges
an
into the
angel.
house.
She was wearing, pink. She was wearing a
She's
pink dress
sleeping
today.
upstairs.
Huh? Oh.
I said she's sleeping.
I want to see her too. Come on, let's go look in on her.
Keep it down. Don't wake her. Maybe you should join your friend upstairs. Keep it down. Don't wake her.
Marlene, my baby. Thank God.
Shh. Shinra has my daughter now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, this is a long scene.
No, I'm the one who asked her to go get Marlene. We'd only just met, but she was so kind and helpful. I took advantage of her.
It's not your fault. It was only a matter of time before she ended up back there.
I'm gonna go grab
Because she's an ancient.
something to drink while this is going
it?
on. So I'll just leave it playing for you.
So she told you about that. She must trust you all a great deal. Yes, Areith is an ancient. Probably the last one living. She's not my daughter. Not by blood, I mean. If that's what you were wondering. About 15 years ago. My husband, he'd been shipped off to fight on the front lines. But then I received a letter saying he'd be home for a bit. So when the day came, I went to the station to meet him. But he didn't come. I couldn't help fearing the worst, even then. But I told myself his leave must have been postponed, that he'd been delayed. Every day I went, to wait and to pray. And that's how I met her and her mother. I thought maybe they'd run away from Wall Market, or that they were topsiders fallen on hard times. I'd seen that sort of thing a lot. Take Areith somewhere safe. Those were her mother's dying words. My husband had been away for so long, and I was lonely. So I convinced myself the safest place for the girl was with me. It took no time at all for her to start feeling like family. She was a real chatterbox. She told me strange stories. Like how she and her mother had escaped from some sort of facility. And how she wasn't sad because her mother had just returned to their planet.
Their planet, huh? Yeah, that sounds about right.
I didn't understand any of it at the time. When I asked if she meant one in the sky, She said no. This one. Right here. I mean, what can you say to that?
Mommy, don't be sad.
That's what she said to me one day, out of the blue. So I asked her, what's wrong?
A man you really, really loved just died. His heart came a long way to say goodbye. But he couldn't stay because he had to return to the planet.
I didn't believe her, of course. And then, a few days later, I received a letter saying my husband had been killed in action. Things like that. She'd just know. It was a lot to deal with, but we were happy. And then came the knock.
Coming! No! Go away!
Areith, you know you're not just any little girl. You're a descendant of the Ancients.
I had no idea what he meant, so I said, "Who are the Ancients?"
They were the original stewards of the planet, whose boundless knowledge and wisdom shall guide us to the promised land. Some believe the promised land to be a myth, others an allegory of sorts. But we take the words of the scriptures at face value and believe it to be quite real. Which is why Shinra would like very much for Areith to help us—
You're wrong! I'm not an ancient!
But Areith, even when you're all alone, don't you hear voices whispering secrets?
No, never!
But all three of us knew that wasn't true. That man knew exactly who Areith was, where she'd come from, and what she could do.
They knew where she was, but they didn't just take her? Doesn't sound like the Turks I know.
She had to come willingly, otherwise it wouldn't work, they said. That's why, even if they did take her away, I'm sure she's still being treated like a guest. And that they'll send her straight back home, once they get what they need.
I doubt it.
I think they said that because
You're not
President
planning
Shinra,
anything, are you?
after
Don't make things worse than they
they
already
basically
are.
killed Alfana after she escaped,
If I lost
ordered
her
them
too,
to
I don't
do
know
nothing
if I
that could injure her.
could ever. Just don't.
Cloud, maybe she's right about this. Maybe they'll let Areith go when it's all over. Maybe we'd be better off waiting a little while.
Maybe President Shinra will give everyone puppies.
Let's head back to Sector 7. Got things to take care of. Like checking up on the bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take care of yourselves now. Take care of yourselves now.
Okay. So, back to
The main
Sector
entrance
7.
to Sector 7 is buried
Oh, we
under
gotta go through
rubble
the
now.
tunnel.
So how are we supposed to get back inside?
Underground passage in the park.
Good plan.
But how do we get to the park?
I know another way to get there. Areith showed me before.
This ancient girl knows her stuff. Didn't mean anything by it.
There was this rumbling, and then all of a sudden...
Why is there two pips on this thing for?
First it was all like shaking.
Maybe this is just leading us to that place.
What are we gonna do
Makes you wonder why we couldn't just go back through Wall. Oh, because the Wall Market's probably crawling with Shinra. That's why. Okay. I guess that makes sense.